All right. Ryan, how are you today?
Good. Thank you for having me on.
Sure thing. Thank you for coming on. Please take it away.
All right. Hi, I'm Ryan Torvik. I'm with Tulip Tree Technology. We are former offensive cybersecurity folks who are trying to improve the development and testing of firmware to eliminate a lot of these vulnerabilities at where they started out, so at the root of them. And all the VCs that I've talked to over the past few years keep telling me that we don't need to do testing anymore. We don't need to worry about that because the AI is just going to write all the code. So I was like, okay, let's try. So I decided to try to prove them right, prove them wrong. I just to try. Let's write embedded systems with AI. And so I picked up an STM32, a little board, and I said, okay, I'll just have it do a hello world for this and just go to town. And I am not an embedded developer. Instead of going through and learning all of it, I just said, okay, just go ahead and do it. And I was working with RuCode and Gemini and Claude and Olama and Warp AI and Claude Code. I tried all these different things to see what kind of results we'd get out. I recorded all myself getting very frustrated with this process. I think I did 6 separate sessions and cut it down and everything where it just failed completely over and over and over again. And I put all that on YouTube and everything, but I started with a platform IO. I don't understand how it works, so I was just like, okay, figure it out. And it would copy files out of the wrong places. It would take libraries that it already installed and copy the files over there and modify them. It didn't know how to compile and link them because it didn't understand how to do it, so it would be moving stuff all over the place. It was terrible. So then we decided to use more standard board support packages and use CMake. And have it generate all the code. But instead of grabbing the board support packages, it just started hallucinating the board support package in place. So then I was like, no, go download it from over here. So then it would download it, but then it wouldn't know how to compile and link against it. So then it would try to go and copy the files around and then hallucinate the code anyway. So we're fighting back and forth with there. And then I was like, okay, you know what? I'll put the board support package in the right place. And then there you go. That's where it is. It's where it needs to be. And so then I would say, here's where this is, go and link and compile to it. And then it would go through and it will try to compile, and then it would go and search the entire board support package for that one include, and then try to, okay, here's the directory, and then run again and kind of have this loop where it was doing this over and over again. And it's like, okay, this isn't working out. So eventually I had to learn like where things were in the board support packages. And then I learned like, oh, there are already CMake files inside the board support package. So I should just use that instead. So then I was like, okay, here, use this CMake file. Oh my gosh. And then once it finally got the build right, and I had to do quite a bit to figure out what I was supposed to do. Once I got the build right, then I was like, okay, now I need to flash it to the board and see what happens. And so I flashed it to the board, and the board is just black. And I'm like, what's going on here? What's going on? And so then I'm having it try to debug why it's black, and it's like, well, is it white now? So then I hold it up and it's white, I'm looking at it. And then it's like, okay, so it's trying to figure out what's wrong with an initialization. It has no idea what's going on, but it's saying, oh, and it's very confident. Like, oh, just try this. Oh, okay. Oh, I see that we put this in the wrong order, so I need to put this in this. Oh, I see that I've set this flag in this call, so we need to do this. And it was always wrong. It was always, nothing ever worked. And it didn't understand what was actually happening. The thing that I keep running into with these AIs is we think that they understand something. It doesn't understand what's physically happening on the board. It understands what it's going to churn through on the internet. So eventually I just gave up, and I went to the STM32 Cube. I created my own project, and then I said, all right, I'm going to take this project and I'm going to put it in this other directory, and then I'm going to have AI just modify it in place. And I was like very clear with the prompt, like, don't remove anything, don't change anything, don't mess with the build, here is the section you're allowed to work in. And it worked. And it was like, okay, so if I'm an expert and I already know how to set all this stuff up, then I can have it add a little bit here and there, and it'll be fine. And just so that folks can understand, because I know that with cybersecurity, we're always like, why are these guys so bad at writing software? Like, I don't understand. And when you actually get into, hold on, this one. Let me make sure. Yes, this one. Okay. When you actually start looking at the code that's generated by these tools, you'll see that this is what you have to deal with. User code begin here, user code end header, user code goes here. So what you're expected to do as a developer is not to actually come up with this. You're expected to generate it or copy it from an example and then just fill it in. And I'll show you here. So here's where it kept failing, was this hallucinate. Hallucinate takes no parameters and returns no value. And so if you get it wrong, it just errors out and it just stops working. And that's why you end up with the white screen or the black screen. So I really ran into a lot of these where it's just not capable of figuring out what's happening because it doesn't understand how the actual hardware works. And that was a really fun experience. And I invite all of you to go on the YouTube and watch me get really angry and really disappointed and upset with my choices. Thank you.
Rock on. I guess the first question is, can you share your YouTube? Yeah, Brian's asking for it as well.
Oh, yeah, I'll throw that in the chat. Yeah, for sure.
Perfect. And then I was writing out like 2 weeks ago, and during the after party, which happens after this, we were discussing this exact problem in a different way, where it's like, if I ask it, please write a very narrow module and write tests for it, it's great at it. But as soon as I try to expand beyond that scope, it breaks down. So a lot of the vibe coding is just keeping track of how all the modules go together. That seems to be mirrored in what you were experiencing.
Yes. I'm amazed at what it's capable of coming up with, and then I'm also just stunned that it can't do what I think would be simple. So,
yeah, same here. No, that's the same. And then Mark had a question, which was, what was the it that finally worked?
The it that finally worked was me actually doing most of the work.
Yeah, I feel you.
So I did most of the work, and I was like, all right, all I want you to do, and I had a very specific prompt, was to just put in code right here. Between these two comments, you can put code in there. And then it put in the hello world in that place. And it was like, did I do a good job? I'm like, yes, thank you.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate it, man. That was great.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you very much.